Let's be completely honest. Multiplayer games can be fun, but nothing, absolutely nothing, beats the feeling of a legendary single-player journey. It's the stories that leave you staring at the credits in silence, the worlds that make you forget your real-life problems. For me, it's still about that gut-wrenching finale in Red Dead 2, or the haunting beauty of stepping into Night City. These aren't just games to pass the time. They genuinely change how you look at interactive storytelling. Today, we are breaking down the absolute pinnacle of single-player gaming. No filler, no microtransactions, just pure, unadulterated masterpieces. Let's get into it. There is open-world gaming, and then there is Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar didn't just build a map, they simulated an entire ecosystem. The unbelievable depth here is almost ridiculous. The way the weather dynamically alters horse stamina, or how townspeople treat you based entirely on your past reputation and outfit. It forces you to slow down and live in its world. And when that narrative finally takes a turn, Arthur Morgan's transformation becomes one of the most painfully beautiful character arcs ever written. It's a tragic, poetic masterpiece that ruins other open worlds because nothing else feels this alive.
You get shot, I'm happy.
The Witcher 3 didn't just raise the bar for dark fantasy RPGs, it became the bar. What makes it timeless isn't just the fluid combat or the massive scale of No Man's Land, but the respect it has for your time. CD Projekt Red treated every minor monster contract like a prestige television episode. The choices you make here aren't black and white, they are deeply gray, and the consequences will come back to haunt you dozens of hours later. It's raw, it's mature, and with expansions like Blood and Wine offering more content than most standalone games, it remains an essential piece of gaming history. Some games entertain you, but The Last of Us completely drains you emotionally. Naughty Dog crafted a survival loop where every single brick, roll of tape, and revolver bullet feels like the difference between life and death. Moving through the dark with clickers clicking in your headset is pure, concentrated tension. But the true heart is the quiet desolation shared between Joel and Ellie. Watching their walls crumble across a ruined America is unforgettable. Grounded in a terrifyingly real-world fungal concept, it's a masterclass in pacing, and a narrative benchmark that earned every bit of its legendary status.
Get you killed.
Take care of myself.
How many close calls have we had?
I grew up knowing Kratos as a one-dimensional ball of rage, so I wasn't remotely prepared for the maturity of the 2018 reinvention. Santa Monica Studio achieved a technical miracle by shooting the entire game in a single, unbroken camera take. No cuts, no loading screens, just non-stop immersion. Throwing and recalling the Leviathan axe feels incredibly satisfying, but the real triumph is the quiet friction between a haunted father and a son trying to find his way. It proved that a blood-soaked action icon could evolve into one of the most human stories in the medium.
I'll rip your head off!
There are consequences to killing a god.
Why? How do you know? How do you know?
Elden Ring took the uncompromising DNA of the Soul series and gave players absolute freedom. The lands between are demanding, precise, and entirely unmerciful, featuring over 100 brutal boss encounters designed to test your patience and resolve. But its true magic lies in the sheer thrill of unguided exploration. With a lore baseline co-created by George R.R. Martin, the world is dripping with dark, layered history. It doesn't insult your intelligence with map markers or quest logs. It simply trusts you to explore, fail, and ultimately conquer. It's a rewarding masterpiece. Resident Evil 4 is the blueprint for every modern third-person action game in existence. It keeps your pulse racing by forcing you into constant resource management under extreme duress. That iconic opening village ambush, where you are vastly outnumbered, running low on ammo, and hearing a chainsaw revving in the distance, is pure adrenaline. Leon Kennedy balances the horror perfectly with his cheesy one-liners. proving that a game can be genuinely terrifying while still being incredibly fun. Whether you play the classic or the gorgeous 2023 remake, it's mandatory gaming history.
What's gonna happen to me?
We gotta keep moving forward. We will beat this. Together.
Thanks.
Selling over 200 million copies isn't luck. It's a cultural phenomenon. GTA 5 fundamentally changed how open-world campaigns are structured by letting you swap between 3 completely distinct criminals in real time. The meticulous heist setups and the razor-sharp satire of modern society give Los Santos an undeniable energy. Backed by a historic budget, its world-building set a massive benchmark. And with recent modern updates introducing ray tracing and pristine performance, this massive crime epic still looks and feels like a contemporary title. It's an unbeatable playground. Ghost of Tsushima is a visual poem masquerading as an action game. Sucker Punch made a genius design choice by replacing traditional HUD clutter with the guiding wind, forcing you to actually look at the stunning landscape instead of a minimap. The katana combat is razor sharp, flowing elegantly between cinematic stances. Jin Sakai's struggle between his rigid samurai honor and the desperate measures needed to save his people gives the plot a heavy emotional weight. It's a deeply respectful, gorgeous tribute to classic samurai cinema that delivers a flawless single-player experience.
On the beach. Others say he is a storm made of flesh.
Skyrim is an absolute titan that has survived multiple console generations for a simple reason: total player freedom. The moment you step out of those opening caves, the game stops dictating your path. You can be a legendary archer, a master of the arcane, or a political assassin. Every playthrough is a blank canvas. The wintry, atmospheric musical score, combined with the scale of the northern province, creates an unmatched sense of high fantasy adventure, bolstered by a legendary modding community that has kept the game fresh for over a decade. It remains the ultimate sandbox RPG. On paper, a story about a tribal outcast hunting giant mechanical dinosaurs with a bow sounds ridiculous. In reality, Horizon Zero Dawn is brilliant. The tactical combat requires you to systematically tear off armor plating and target mechanical weak spots, making every encounter feel like a high-stakes puzzle. Aloy is a phenomenal protagonist whose personal journey of discovery perfectly mirrors the overarching mystery of the world. Unraveling exactly how human civilization fell back to the Stone Age is one of the most satisfying sci-fi reveals in gaming.
What is it?
The end.
Cyberpunk 2077 has the greatest redemption arc in the industry. Its disastrous 2020 launch is well documented, but the massive 2.0 overhaul completely rebuilt the game into the masterpiece it was meant to be. The updated cyberware systems and frantic combat feel incredible, and Night City stands as a breathtaking monument to neon-soaked dystopian architecture. The complex, existential relationship between V and the digital ghost of Johnny Silverhand gives the story a gritty, unforgettable edge. It's a stunning example of a studio refusing to give up on their vision. Uncharted 4 is the definitive, blockbusting cinematic adventure. It delivers jaw-dropping set pieces, from high-speed mud chases to collapsing pirate colonies, with the polish of a Hollywood summer film. But what makes it the best in the franchise is its maturity. It explores the heavy reality of a retired Nathan Drake being dragged back into danger by his estranged brother, balancing high-stakes treasure hunting with genuine marital and familiar tension. It's fluid, it's beautifully written, and it serves as the absolute perfect send-off to an iconic gaming hero.
Spider-Man. Look, next time, leave the fighting to the pros.
Before Insomniac took the reins, great superhero games were an anomaly. This title shattered those doubts by delivering a web-swinging mechanic so perfect that just moving through Manhattan is a joyful experience. The combat is an acrobatic dance of gadgets and aerial combos, but the real victory is the writing. It perfectly captures the exhausting double life of Peter Parker, balancing personal financial struggles with superhero responsibilities. The villain origins are tragic and deeply personal, setting a spectacular new standard for comic book adaptations. Arkham Knight is the darkest, most atmospheric entry in Rocksteady's trilogy. Gotham is rendered as a gorgeous, rain-slicked war zone where neon lights bleed into dark shadows, a visual feast that still outshines most modern current-gen titles. The combat is refined to absolute perfection, blending gadgets and bone-crunching strikes effortlessly. While the Batmobile sections divided opinion, the psychological warfare driven by the Scarecrow's fear toxin elevates the narrative, forcing Batman to confront his own deteriorating sanity. It is the ultimate Caped Crusader simulator.
We don't stand a chance. Stay here. I'll send someone to pick you up. What are you doing? Evening the odds.
Control is a surreal, brutalist psychological thriller that completely embraces its own weirdness. As Jesse Faden explores the shifting, paranormally corrupted corridors of a secret government facility, the game builds an incredibly unsettling atmosphere. The telekinetic combat is the true standout, ripping concrete chunks directly out of the walls to launch at enemies while levitating through the air feels incredibly powerful. Coupled with deep, eerie world building centered around everyday objects turned supernatural, it stands out as an incredibly unique sci-fi shooter. Mass Effect 2 is the gold standard for choice-driven space operas. BioWare crafted a masterfully paced narrative where you must assemble the galaxy's most dangerous specialists for a literal suicide mission. The stakes are completely real. If you fail to earn your crew's loyalty or make the wrong tactical call in the final act, characters you genuinely love will die permanently. The sharp dialogue and unforgettable squad dynamics create a profound emotional attachment, making this brief, highly polished development triumph one of the finest sci-fi stories ever told. Bloodborne doesn't just invite you in, it violently drags you into a nightmare. Moving away from defensive play, its combat mechanics actively punish hesitation, forcing you to play aggressively to regain lost health by striking back. The city of Yharnam is a gothic, Victorian fever dream, dripping with cosmic horror and terrifying creature designs. True to the From Software philosophy, the tragic lore is hidden within cryptic item descriptions and environmental cues, forcing you to piece together a disturbingly brilliant puzzle. It is an absolute masterpiece. Rise of the Tomb Raider takes the cinematic survival energy of modern action games and drops you into a beautiful, unforgiving wilderness. The Siberian setting feels isolated and harsh, forcing Lara Croft to gather resources and craft specialized gear on the fly to survive against both nature and a shadowy military cult. The optional tombs are exquisite, self-contained environmental puzzles that offer an immensely satisfying eureka moment when solved. It's a beautifully paced, visually stunning adventure that showcases Lara at her most resilient and human.
Now I understand what Dad was going through.
Released recently in March 2026, Crimson Desert has already solidified its place among the greats. Following years of intense development, it completely delivers on its massive promises. The combat features a raw, visceral physics weight, where every sword clash and grappling maneuver feels impactful. Following the mercenary leader Cliff across the fractured, warring continent of Pywell, the narrative delivers a gritty, unpredictable story. The sheer visual scale of the open world and the ferocious variety of enemy encounters make it one of the absolute best single-player achievements of 2026. Historically, James Bond games have struggled to live up to the cinematic legacy, but 2026's 007 First Light finally broke the curse. It gives players immense tactical freedom, allowing you to seamlessly pivot between ghost-like stealth, elegant gadget usage, or intense, aggressive gunplay. By focusing on a younger, vulnerable Bond before he earned his legendary 00 status, the story introduces real stakes and human error to the character. It's a sharp, sophisticated, and deeply intentional spy thriller that fans have been waiting decades to play.
Bond. James Bond.
At the end of the day, these 20 experiences are the reason we fall in love with gaming in the first place. They prove that spectacular art design, brilliant writing, and cohesive single-player worlds will always stand the test of time. But I want to hear your side of the story. Which single-player campaign completely redefined gaming for you? Drop your favorites in the comments below. If you want more deep dives into the best experiences in gaming, hit that like button and subscribe. As for me, I'm heading back into Piewell. See you in the next one.